What's up, guys? This is Zach, and we got Harley from Flash Out Media. Real busy fight weekend. We had Dern versus Hill in a barn burner of a fight. We had Haney and Loma. We had some controversy with that fight. A lot of people say that Loma got robbed. We're here to talk about it. And then we got who else fought? Oh yeah, Katie Taylor. She lost versus Cameron. So we're gonna definitely talk about that as well. So real exciting weekend, real good fights all around. And the first thing we're gonna get to is the biggest topic of this weekend is the Devin Haney and the Loma fight. We're both gonna give our breakdowns of the fight and then discuss it. Um, the narrative right now is that Loma got robbed. Okay. I fell asleep, so I didn't get to watch it. And then I woke up, checked social media, seen that Devin Haney had won, but everybody was saying he was got robbed, right? That was the narrative. I watched the fight, and I'm here to say that there's two ways that I scored it. I had it 7-5 Devin Haney, or I had it a draw. The first half of the fight was Devin Haney. I might have gave Loma one round through 1 through 6, right? And then Loma started, warming up, catching on to what Haney was doing. And towards the end of the fight, Loma was building up. And man, it really came down to that last round for me, man. And a lot of these rounds, like the first half of the fight, Devin Haney was winning, but it was very close. The second half of the fight, the rounds Loma was winning, wasn't really competitive. You know what I'm saying? You could really tell Loma was winning those rounds. So I had like I said, going into round 12, I had it damn near a even fight. And some of these rounds were hard to score. Round 8, super hard to score. But round 12, man, it was like whoever was gonna do just enough. Whoever was gonna land that last shot was going. That's how close that last round was. And Haney, to me, was landing the last shots at the end of the round, especially the first half. Every time Loma would land a shot, Haney answered with a right hand. He did very good at that. And yeah, without getting too in depth with it, I'm gonna let you go.
Yeah, man. Oh, it's crazy because I watched the fight for the first time 5 minutes ago. Um, I had plans this weekend, so I wasn't able to watch it live, but I was able to go back and watch it just now. With that being said, it's crazy because I agree. I had it. I had Haney up by 2 rounds, but but like you said, that 12th round could have went either way. I had Haney edging out that last round, but I'd like to go back and rewatch it again. I really would, just to be able to just not have to really, you know, overanalyze and just sit back and just chill and see if I see anything else. But from the onset, I had it 7-5 Haney. Could have been a draw.
Yep.
One thing I did not like, one of the official judges, gave round 10 to Devin Haney.
Yeah.
Now, how in the hell you gave round 10 to Devin Haney? I don't know. I don't know. And I'm not saying that was the deciding factor of the fight because it wasn't. You got three judges for a reason. But for one judge to give round 10 to Devin Haney,
Yeah,
that's not bad. That's horrible.
yep.
You don't even need to know shit about boxing to know who won that 10th round.
Facts.
I mean, that was, dude,
That was one of the
I felt,
more decisive rounds, right?
oh, absolutely. Yeah, dude. That 10th round, if we just going over the 10th round, Lomachenko dominated. If Lomachenko fights like that all the whole fight, not on wrong. There's a reason he didn't fight like that the whole fight because Devin built that lead. Devin was really boxing, going down to the body early in the fight.
Hmm.
Um, I one of the biggest keys in the fight was Devin's jab.
Yes.
Okay, we said that coming in, but the body work of Devin Haney
Yep.
to me is what really won him the fight. I
So
think the body work of Devin Haney was the biggest factor for him
let
in this fight.
let's get into this, man, because if we just watch highlights and we just go off of social media and do this podcast, we're gonna say Lomachenko got robbed, right? That's the narrative. Am I wrong?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
No,
And you know,
yeah,
people that you know on some real shit, bro. We really watch boxing. Like we
Yeah,
really know we know how to score a fight. You know what I'm saying? Ain't
yeah,
no ain't no disrespect to anybody who scored it for Loma, but like a lot of y'all saying that Loma won and the reasoning doesn't make sense to me. Okay, you're throwing a lot of punches, you're throwing the combinations, but if one shot out of like five lands, it's
yeah,
the same as Haney throwing one body shot. You feel me? And if Haney is
yeah.
landing the more cleaner shots, you know, what fighter does this sound like? A guy landing cleaner shots but getting outworked. Canelo.
Yeah.
We see Canelo win decisions all the time because he's landing the more cleaner shots. So like when we're watching fights, bro, we're not scoring shots to the gloves. We're not like you gotta land these shots, bro. And I don't is like again, no disrespect to anybody who got Loma winning, but like you really gotta know what you're looking at, man. And I think a lot of social media is just tripping, bro. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, because I made a little boo boo. You said, and I didn't realize that you didn't want me to tell you nothing at all going, before the podcast. Well, what did I take you through 5 rounds, bro?
Yeah.
Well, what did I
And I
what
had
did I take you through?
you said he won 4 out of 5, and I had it the same exact way, bro. Same, dude. He was landing body shots. He was finishing the round off strong, bro.
And
And
and to me, it wasn't even close through five.
facts,
I,
bro.
I said it wasn't
It
even close.
was.
I mean,
I give this to Lomachenko. The rounds Lomachenko won, he did more than when Haney won his rounds.
oh yeah, 100%.
I give him that. But I think where people and you could comment on this as well. I think where people are getting this twisted, man. I Devin racked up a bunch of rounds leading to where
Yeah,
Loma took over, right? And I
yeah,
think if you look at the punch count, right? Haney, I think Lomachenko landed a couple more punches than Haney, but most of those punches were in like the last 3 to 4 rounds. Am I wrong? So if you're going off of how
yeah,
many punches Lomachenko landed throughout the fight, he didn't land those till at the end. Haney was out, you know what I'm saying?
yeah. And I want to go back to something. When Loma Chico fought um Teofimo Lopez,
Right,
Loma Chico didn't get it going. It took him longer to get it going against Teofimo than it did against Devin. I found.
right. But you got to remember he was injured.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. But I'm saying is, I scored that fight 8-4 for Lopez.
Right,
Now the last 4 rounds, Loma Chico won. But that again, the reason why, and people don't understand this either. Who landed the most damage in the fight? I say Loma Chico did. Overall damage. Okay? But people's got to realize you don't.
can I say one thing?
Yeah,
I would say Lomachenko had more reactions from
yeah.
Haney rather than Haney landing. I think they both were landing good shots, but
Oh
Haney
yeah, no, no,
reacted
no.
to it
Yeah,
more.
yeah. Well, yeah. That's the better way to put it. Now, uh, shoot, I forgot what I was going to say. You had Loma. When Loma was laying, you could see it. You know what I'm saying? But Devin racked up those early rounds.
And that's what won him the fight, man.
In boxing, you score round by round. It doesn't matter what happened around. Well, it does matter what happened around four. But once the previous round's over, that round's over with.
Facts.
You start fresh each and every round. And I think a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people understand that. Don't
And
think,
let me follow up on what you're saying because like if boxing heads are listening, they know what you're saying. But for the outside, not boxing heads, what Harley's saying is if you win the first round and you won by one punch, and then the other guy wins the next round and by like 20 punches, it still adds up the same. You get a 10-9
yeah,
round and a 10-9 round. It's the same.
yeah, nah. Unless one of those guys in the round
It's
gets
dropped.
dropped,
Right. But
then that's a
nobody got
different
dropped.
story. Yeah, yeah. I'm just throwing that out there for people that don't might not know that either. You know.
Right.
But no, nobody ever got dropped in this fight, so that's irrelevant in this fight. So we don't have to get into that because there was no 10-8 rounds. There had no need for any 10-8, like, you know. But
And
go
another
ahead.
another thing, man, is like, okay, people are very, very big on boxing being rigged. I'm not saying it's not, but look at last weekend's fight, man. Rolly, according
That
to
was
the
a robbery.
judges, according to the judges, was losing that fight. If that goes all 12 rounds, he loses that fight. So you can't say judges are getting no, bro. No, no. Because in this fight, you can't pay off judges, man. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Now, the whatever you and the ref got, you know, that was weird last weekend, but this weekend I can't call it robbery, bro. I just can't.
Now I have to say this too. Uh, One, and I forgot what judge it is. I should have pulled up the damn official scorecards.
Yeah,
And I saw him on Twitter. But one judge had the 10th round for Loma Tinker. I mean for Devin. And that's a no.
yeah, for sure.
That no. You know? But listen, so I watched the fight 5 minutes. I finished watching the fight 5 minutes before we came on here.
Right.
And I had people text me this weekend and I said, keep me posted, let me know how it goes. I had people tell me that Loma got robbed, and I was like, damn, man, what the
Right.
hell? And then I also had people tell me, oh, Devin didn't do nothing the whole fight. He didn't. So I'm expecting to watch the fight and just look at Devin that turn in the ring, and I'm waiting. I'm waiting for him to just start chilling, and I'm waiting. I'm like, okay, maybe he stops right here. I'm waiting, but Devin, Devin fought his ass off. Okay,
Hell yeah.
I'm on the record. Y'all can go back and look at it. I said I picked Lomachenko to win this fight. I did. But Devin Haney, uh, hey, put some respect in that man's name.
24
And
years old,
clearly
man.
he
24, bro.
24, bro.
Who else doing this at 24? And you could say,
Nobody.
oh, make him fight Tank. He wouldn't do it. Tank 28, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, Haney is fighting the best of the best right now at 24 years old, become undisputed.
Yeah.
Went in Kambosa's hometown, beat him twice, and then he stepped up, dropped his nuts, and fought Lomachenko. No matter the result, whether he won or lost, bro, he was willing to step up and take a L in a close fucking fight, bro. And like, come on, man. You got everybody hating on Haney, bro. You got to look at it for what it is.
And I'm gonna say this too. Props to both guys right here. Because let me tell
Facts.
you something.
Facts.
Let me tell you something. People say, oh well, Lomachenko's done. Bullshit, he ain't done.
Fuck no, man.
Lomachenko's far from done.
Bro,
Far.
if anything, this didn't do anything for long, and I think this is what boxing needs, bro. In the UFC, why are they taking over? Because nobody's trying to get undefeated, bro. There's only so many amount of fighters in the MMA that probably count on like one hand the undefeated fighters. You know what I'm saying? They're willing to fight
Yeah.
the best, put it on the line, and people still love and respect them. People still love and respect Lomachenko the same way before he fought this fight, man. And guess what? Lomachenko has 3 losses, and he's still one of the biggest names. Hopefully for boxing, this pushes these guys to make these fights and realize that even if you take a L, it's all look at Ryan Garcia, bro. He took a L and he's still relevant. You know what I'm saying?
Of course, as it should be. As it should
And
be. Yeah.
like you said, bro,
And
go on. What you got?
and, and it's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. But Lomachenko deserves a rematch if he wants. But
100%.
it's not gonna happen.
Yep.
They'll probably never fight again.
No.
But if this was MMA, if this was the UFC, Uncle D would have that shit. Hey, time
Now,
to deliver when
oh,
y'all want to
facts.
do it.
And that's another reason why MMA is so big right now. Now, 2 things. I'm gonna see if you agree with me on this. Um, for Haney, I think why this was a closer fight towards the end. Um, the first half he did great. Second half, I don't know if you heard in the corner, his dad said, "You're up, you're winning. Sit back, stick to the jab."
Yeah.
Now, when Haney started doing that, and then Lomachenko, it slowed down for Lomachenko. He was able to download more and figure him out. And we know Lomachenko now starts better towards the end of the fight. I think that's what made it a closer fight towards the end. Is
Yeah.
Him telling him to
I
stick to the jab and stay on the outside.
yeah, I agree. And that could have definitely played a factor into it, man. But you know, um, you never know how the judges can score a fight. But that was smart by his dad because he knew he had. You can hear me, right? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
There was that knew that he had those early rounds in the bag, and he didn't want Devin to take any chances to blow that lead, man.
I have to
You know what I'm
disagree,
saying?
bro. I have to
Huh?
disagree. I have to disagree on that, bro. I think he should have stuck to what he was doing because it was
Oh
working.
yeah, because that almost tarnished him.
Right.
That almost blew the fight for him. So I don't know that probably did play a factor in Loma Chico coming back because when you saw Devin let up, Loma started coming. And dude, honestly, if Loma Chico wins the 12th round, I think it's a draw.
Yeah, me too, bro. I have it just like that as well. And it's crazy. Shout out to my boy John. He watches boxing just like us, and he studies the game. And that's one guy besides you. I'm like, hey, I call him up and be like, what do you think about this fight? Just to see if I'm tripping. And same score, bro. Same score. So
Yeah.
it's crazy. You know, we pretty much covered all around that fight. But if we're gonna play matchmaker on what's next, realistically, not what we want and what the fans want. We know it don't work like that, but I would have to say Devin Haney moves to 140. And if you're looking at 140 right now, they have uh whatchamacallit, Tiafimo and Taylor fighting for a belt, right? You have Regis, who's defending his belt soon. You have Rolly, who just won a belt, and you have Puello, who just won a belt. If you're Haney, your contract just ended. You're a free agent. You have room to do whatever the hell you want. Out of those four guys, who's the easiest match to make, and you still make a good bit of money because they have a name? Rolly.
The
You know what I'm saying?
yeah, the
Rolly.
easiest.
and you
Yeah, definitely
and you
Roy.
get a title at 140, and then after you fight, at that 140, you probably gonna get a mandatory guy who we don't know. So he has, I'm not gonna say two easy fights, but a lot easier than what he just had if he takes that route. I'm gonna ask you, what do you see for Devin Haney coming up?
What do I see or what do I want to see?
What do you see from a realistic business and all that? You know what I'm saying? Because we know what we
I
want to
mean,
see.
look, if they want to give the easy road, well, she deserves it. I mean, the son of a bitch
Yeah,
is
I
going,
think the ball's in his court now. I think you know what I'm saying?
and he's undisputed, correct? He got
Yep.
all the belts at 35 right now.
Yep.
And man, man, I don't want to get off track, but I want to say this. But for people that don't really watch boxing, the 135 division was the most loaded division in boxing for a long time.
Facts.
So to be undisputed at 135 at 24 years old, bro, I mean, shit.
Yeah.
'Cause, dude, the guy, okay, Devin beat Cambosis twice,
Yep.
okay? Cambosis almost stopped Teofimo Lopez.
Yep.
So look, is Cambosis like the one of the ringleaders in the weight class? No, but obviously the kid can fight. He got something in it.
You feel me?
And Devin took him to school not once but twice.
Yeah.
And then come followed up with this, and I hear people saying, "Oh well, Loma Chico been out for so long." He has, but I also hear people saying, "Oh, he ain't got it no more. He's washed up." If you think that version of Vasily Lomachenko is washed up,
You ain't a real
then
fan.
then, then you don't know boxing. Then. I'm sorry,
Facts.
because
Facts.
let me tell you something. If Vasily Lomachenko comes knocking on my door right now, I'm hanging this podcast up and I'm going to negotiate with this
Rightfully so, man.
Lomachenko or anybody. If I get that version of Vasily Lomachenko, hey, sign me up, please.
So who do you see Haney? Do you see Haney staying at 35 or 140?
No, there's no need for him to stay at 35. He's did everything. Why would he stay at 35?
Right, right,
You know, he goes up to 140, the easiest route, and he deserves it.
right.
I got off subject right there. The easiest route, go knock out Rolly because he will knock out Rolly. I'm gonna tell you right now.
I
He's
don't
not
think
the
he
biggest
knocks him
power
out.
puncher. He's not the biggest power puncher, but at least he at least TKOs him. I'm telling you.
I don't
I'm
know.
telling you. Well, he dominates. Okay,
There you go.
go dominate road and take his little belt. Then after that, fight your little mandatory. Do what you gotta do with him. Then hey, if the stars line up right, you get the winner out of Teofimo Lopez and Josh Taylor and go from there.
Yeah, I think there's two guys at 140 that are going to be very tough fights for him, and that's Regis and that's, probably Tiafimo. I think Taylor probably moves to 147 regardless, win or lose, and gets bigger fights over there. But, I see, 140 being Regis, being Tiafimo and Haney competitive for a while, let the fights build up. But another thing about Haney, man, he's never really crossed over to the fans. And I think the biggest reason is you're not gonna get big knockouts from Haney, and
Yeah,
he's not gonna be a guy where you're sitting at work, you're sitting at the office, and like you pull up your phone and you show a highlight reel knockout.
yeah, he's not a big power puncher.
Right. If you're a true boxing fan, you really respect what he's doing, and like according to social media, we don't have that many true boxing fans. You know what I'm saying? So I think for Haney, man, he has to follow in Floyd's blueprint. Floyd didn't have a lot of knockouts, right? Later in his career. If he wouldn't have did what he did, personality wise, who knows if he's the biggest star in boxing, right? I think Haney has to embrace that villain role, and I think pushing Lomachenko at weigh-ins was a
Yeah,
good
I was
step.
about to say he started it. He
Yep.
started it.
So it's just like Kobe Covington in MMA, man. If he takes on that persona and really, really capitalizes off of it, I think he can cross over to the fans more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he's not a big power puncher, but I first watched Devin when he was 18, 19 years old, something like that. One of those,
Yeah,
and he had no power. Now he can box his ass off.
right.
He can. Nah, he still don't have legitimate power, but he got a little more pop in him now than he did before. So
Absolutely.
now don't get me wrong, he never will be this big puncher, but he's got a little more. He's got a little more in the tank as far as power now than
Right.
when he was younger. You know.
Now, moving on to Lomachenko, um, I'm gonna say what I think. It's next for him. I'll let you go, but you know, if Devin Haney does move to 140, that vacates all the belts, which everybody got to fight for a belt. You can't just unify right away.
Secure.
So yes, they're both with top rank, and it would only make sense. Lomachenko isn't getting any younger, so he can't. There's no more tune-up fights for Lomachenko. He has to go straight for the big fights, and Shakur honestly needs a big name on his resume. He
I
fought
agree.
he
I
fought
agree.
Valdez, but aside from Valdez, there's no, and it's not his fault either. He was out at lower weight class and all these guys, and they just didn't have those names. Now I think Lomachenko versus Shakur is the fight to make, and yeah, I think that's a fucking banger.
Hell yeah, I'd love to see it.
What
One
what you
hundred percent.
what you see for Lomachenko, man? You see the same?
That's definitely what I want to see. And if they smart, yeah, that's what they'll make. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you got to make that for one of the belts for sure. The whole boxing card was exciting. The ESPN or Top Rank crew is really doing a great job of putting really good fight cards that keeps you interested in every single fight. Nakatani, man, I don't know if you've seen that knockout, bro, but for sure they're saying it knockout of the year. He knocked out Andrew Maloney, the brother of
Yeah.
Maloney, 11th round, man. And you really don't see super flyweights getting knockouts like this unless you're Inoue. And Inoue is only one weight class away from Nakatani. Do you see that fight happening in the future?
I don't know if it will, but I'd love to see it.
Me too, bro.
If that
They're
if that
both from
answers
the
your
same
question.
place, so they might as well do it, over there, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying, in Japan. Nakatani, he's not undisputed yet. That's the main goal when you're in the weight classes to get all four belts. I think he only has one right now, but that's a guy to keep an eye on. Raymond Muratala, he is an undefeated guy. He's 18-0. If you watch his post press conference after he knocked this guy out in the second round, he called for Haney. Do I think he gets that fight with Haney or Lomachenko? Nah. But do I think he
Yeah.
gets a fight for one of those belts after they get vacated? Most def. And I think that's the guy they're gonna kind of build up as well. We had Oscar Valdez getting a unanimous decision over Adam Lopez. He had already beat Lopez in the past. Lopez came to fight though, and Valdez just, more experience, more pop on his punches, and just showed why, he's fought for titles and won them. Um, going back to Valdez, at 130, where most of the big dogs, then moved up to 135. You see Valdez becoming champion again?
Oh yeah, man, I'm still a huge Valdez fan. Huge Oscar Valdez fan. Yeah,
I think
and like you said,
do you know
most of those
go on?
most of those top dogs being with most of those top dogs moving up, yeah, it's wide open for Valdez to not only win a world title, but really to take over the division if he wants it.
Yeah, I think there's one guy who's an interesting fight, and that's Emmanuel Navarrete. He has a belt, so
Yeah,
he's with Top Rank. I see them making that fight.
and that's
Pretty
a good fight by the way. Never take a fight, bro.
absolutely. That boy swings and bangs.
That's
Um,
not a gimmick for either guy.
you
Just
know,
throwing that out there.
I gotta go with something that you called, and I was like, nah, man, they're gonna build this guy up. And man, Nico Ali Walsh, bro, gets a split decision draw, bro, against a 13-9 guy.
Man, but that's what I'm saying. The guy, I see. I didn't even know that,
Yep.
dude. I mean, so let me ask you this: can we spend this? And
Yeah,
look,
yeah.
I'm not here to bash.
No, no,
I'm
you
not here to
good.
bash. I promise. But did he look half decent? What I mean, what was how did
Nah,
that fight play out?
no.
Not at all.
I mean, it was close, but I mean, it shouldn't have been close. You
A
know what I mean?
13-9 guy, yeah.
Yeah,
And look, I was, I even thought his last fight, I'm like, okay, he's showing improvement. You coming, but man, you can't just, I mean, you can't just shit the bed, bro.
yeah. You got
Against a
it.
13-9 guy.
You got the pavement laid out for you, and all you have to do is what you're supposed to do until you get to the top. You know what I mean? And yeah, I think you called that for sure. Um,
Now, one more thing before we go.
yeah,
Oh, do you think it was a draw, or you think they gave him a draw just to be nice? Like, was it?
to be nice.
So you think the other guy won
It
the
it
fight?
was it was close, but you know what I'm saying. Like I said, it wasn't
Yeah.
supposed to be close.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay. Yeah.
moving up the card, we had Emiliano Vargas, um, Fernando Vargas' son, one of the three sons. All of them continue to make impressive performances, and he looked really good, man, getting the knockout. We also had Abdullah Mason. He moves to 8-0. I want to say he's at 130. Yeah, 135. So keep your eye on these guys, man. The good thing about the undercard, you always see what the next generation's coming with. We seen
Yeah.
like
It
four or
makes it
5 years
fun, man.
ago, we seen Ryan Garcia on these type of spots, Haney on these type of spots. So keep your eye on the undercard, man. When you see a guy 8-0 fighting maybe a lesser record, that means this guy, they're trying to push him to the top. And why they're trying to push him to the top, probably had a very good amateur background. So that was the boxing card. We're gonna switch it up. Before we switch it up to UFC, you got anything to add?
No, man. Hey, Tyler out of Boston, bro, and it, it's good to see. Hell, when was the Tank and Garcia fight? 2, 3 weeks ago,
Yeah, I want to say three.
man. So less than a month apart, two legitimate boxing fights against two guys that have a lot of tread left on the tires. Shout out to the promoters for making those two fights happen. And I look forward to seeing some more big fights in the near future from boxing, man.
Yes, sir. So, we're gonna move on to UFC Fight Night. Angela Hill, Mackenzie Dern. We'll start off with the main event first, but man, solid night of fights, bro. It's always these fights that don't have the biggest names,
Yep, that
but tend
people
to
sleep on.
deliver. Yep. So starting with Mackenzie Dern and Angela Hill, man, a very, very like I did not see it going this way. I'll be the first one to tell you. I wasn't big on Mackenzie Dern striking. I wasn't big on her wrestling. I'm still not as big on her wrestling, but her striking got way better. And one thing that I've noticed with like fighting since, I started doing this is if you're a wrestler and you continue to work on your hands, if you use your wrestling first, it'll allow you to use your hands because people are so worried about the ground game, and vice versa. If you're a kickboxer, let Peter Yan, for instance, like very good boxer, kickboxer, but he's able to get takedowns because people are so worried about his hands. If you go the other way around, so many people do not want to hit the mat with Mackenzie Dern that they forget that there's a whole nother part of the fight and it's striking, and people get surprised by strikes. Mackenzie Dern was able to, land some solid strikes and really hurt Angela Hill, man. Like she had at least two 10-8 rounds. Hill definitely gave Hill one round. You could argue that she had two, but I just gave her one round. And like it was just a real solid performance from Mackenzie Dern. And I would say that's Mackenzie Dern 2.0 for sure. That's not the same fighter that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, man. And not only a win, but a pretty dominant win, for that matter. Man, if Mackenzie Dern keeps turning her out like that, watch out, bro. She can be a player in that division. And
Absolutely.
she did say, in her pre-fight conference, um, all the BS that no, I say BS. I'm not trying to downplay it. She
Yeah,
said all the struggles that she's been through, uh, going through a divorce and switching managers and switching teams, all that stuff. She said that she was focused, ready to go, and man, she showed it. So big ups to her to be able to put the personal things put the personal things aside and come out ready to rock and roll, man, and
absolutely.
get a big win.
So, with that win, like you mentioned earlier, it is going to put her, probably the same in the rankings, but people look at Mackenzie Dern different now. Before we just looked at it like, she's gonna stay at 5. Now, with improved striking, I see her, man. She might be able to get. I'm not calling her champ, but I think she can get close to the title shot, if not a title shot. And one girl who she called out is an interesting matchup is Rose Namajunas. Do you
Yeah.
do you see that fight
Uh,
happening?
hey, I would love that fight, cause man, Uncle, hey, no, I love me some boxing. We just talked about it. They don't make these fights happen. You
Thanks.
know, Thug Rose, former world champion. Fought the who's who. Man, if she could beat Thug Rose, wow. Now then we starting to talk. Look, Thug Rose, I like her, but she is a little inconsistent. She got some inconsistency issues, but she's a two. Well, I think it's two-time, former two-time world champion, huh?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, former two-time champion for a reason. Hey, if we want to step up to see where Mackenzie really is, that would be the one. And the fact that she called for it, let's make it happen.
Man, I'll
I would
say
love to see
this.
that fight.
If Mackenzie Dern is on the mat with anybody, she beats them. I'm not saying she
I agree.
subs everybody, but she gets the better of everybody on the ground. And
Yeah,
you know, with her being a specialist, man, she's definitely got a shot at the title.
yeah, man.
All right, co-main event action, man. We had Anthony Hernandez beating Edmund Shabazian. We did say this was a very important fight for both of them. And Shabazian always starts off strong. It's always been something in his career, but tends to fade. And if you're gonna fade, man, it's a horrible matchup versus Anthony Hernandez. I'll say this, man,
Constant pressure.
Anthony Hernandez, I'm not saying he's top 10 material yet because we got to see him keep passing these tests, but he's definitely top 15. This guy, pace, his wrestling, as a coach, I want people to wrestle how he wrestles for MMA. That is very, very frustrating fight for anybody if he does that. And if he keeps improving his striking and getting confidence there, he's only gonna get better. Shabazian, man, is just the same thing over and over again. He is 25 years old, so it is something that he can fix. But as for Anthony Hernandez, man, this kid is on the rise. What do you think overall for these guys and what's next?
Yeah, man. Anthony Hernandez, like you said, always comes to fight, push the pace. You got one thing besides his wrestling. You got to be in shape when you fight this man, because he's gonna be in shape. He's gonna push the pace. He's gonna push you to fight. With that being said, nice win for Anthony Hernandez. Um, where's he in the rankings right now?
He's not ranked.
Oh, he's not. Man,
So
give
this
somebody
should
the
get him at least 15, or the
yeah,
next fight should get him. You know what I mean? Or a ranked
give
opponent.
give him somebody in the top 15 and see what he can do. Absolutely, 100%. And as far as for Edmund Shabazian, I hate to say it, but you got to start thinking, does the UFC cut him? You know,
I don't
um,
think so.
no,
Nope. He's 25. He's putting up competitive fights, and he's only losing the really good guys.
yeah.
I think you keep
Um,
this guy around for sure.
but if you do that, you need to give him something, somebody to get him on track,
Oh yeah,
get him back on track.
think
Um,
about Oliveira, man. He was very young into UFC, and he lost a handful of fights. But look at him now. I mean, imagine Shabazian if he keeps fighting, where he's gonna be at 30 years old. That's 5 years from now, man.
yeah. Oh, absolutely. And when I say cut him, I mean give, cut him, give him a little break, let him go into something else, and give him a call up in a few fights, or do they want to just build him up? I'm not saying cut him for the longevity of his career, you know, um,
I
if they
think
do
that
that. But then,
I think they still got something special, man, right there. I think he just needs to figure a lot of things out mentally, and he has time.
yeah, yeah, he's definitely talented and got legitimate power, you know. Uh, so he's always dangerous. Win, lose, or draw, his style, he's dangerous.
Absolutely. Moving up to the next fight, we have Lupita Gomez getting her second win in 2 months, over Emily Ducote. We both said this was a tough fight. We both flip-flopped on this one. And
Man,
it really was a competitive fight. Like Lupita did win, but you know what I'm saying? Ducote had her moments, but I think Lupita's wrestling proved to be just a little bit strong. And to my surprise, she kind of outstriked Ducote in this fight.
yeah, man. And I hated seeing it because I had Gordinians at first. And
Right.
then I was like, nah, let me go with the Cody and nah, let me stay with the Cody. You know, I didn't know who to go with. And but this show, hey, solid win for Gordinez. Her second win in just a few weeks. So look, the girl's not scared to fight. She comes to fight. She's getting better with each fight. I'm looking forward to see what's next for her because she's that's impressive, man.
Absolutely.
To really to beat, like you said, to be able to not only beat the Cody, not dominate her, but to be able to outstrike her in spots. That says a lot, man.
It
So
definitely shows
looking forward to
improvement.
seeing her again.
And I think both girls are gonna be around in this division for a while, man. I don't think you've seen the last Ducote. So moving up, man, a guy that we were really, really intrigued to see at 170. He did some good things at 85, but at 170, it's really interesting. And he proved that it was the right move for him, man. He gets a head kick knockout over a very talented Andre Filau. Did this surprise you?
No, this is another fight that I said could have went either way.
Yep.
I did pick for the out. I did, but remember, I was flip flopping. You know what I said? Look, if Buckley knocks him out, don't be surprised.
Right.
You know, and and I'm gonna say this: Buckley was on a bit of a skid. I mean, they both were, but I'm just speaking on Buckley.
Right.
Buckley was on a bit of a skid coming to this one. You know, he burst onto the scene with a was it another head kick knockout that he what was that
The spinning
Mr.
sidekick knockout.
Sorry, I knew it was something crazy. He burst onto the scene, and after they were trying to build him up, he lost the fight that he should have won.
Right.
Ended up getting knocked out, and you're thinking, oh wait, is he somebody? Is he real? Or is he a little fraud? But man, Buckley showed that he still got a lot of tread left on the tires. That moving to 170 can really benefit him. It's more of a natural weight class for him. He showed that he's still very explosive and powerful. And so, not only for him, but for the fans, it, look, I don't expect Buckley to go knock somebody out every time. But
Yeah.
this is something that the casual fans can get behind. And if you can continue to rip off some wins like this is something that you can really get behind and work into the UFC. So big
Absolutely.
for not only the win, but the way he won for Joaquin Buckley.
And Buckley is a guy who needed this in his career, like some rejuvenation. because
Yeah,
he has a decent name, and now things weren't going his way at 85. We see him taking a different turn at 170. So that's good to see. And Phil out, man, if anything about Phil out, he just needs to start off a little bit busier. And that's the one thing Joaquin Buckley was in this fight, a little bit busier at the jump. Phil out is a great striker. He just gotta get in there. I think he's worried about takedowns too much.
absolutely, 100%. I agree. First thing, I think you just need some time off as well. You
Yeah,
know, I mean, hey, just look, and I don't think he's done. I think they can keep him, man. It just, now don't get me wrong, you got to go win this next fight,
definitely.
but take some time off, regroup. Andre Pelea's a legitimate fighter, man.
He's a
Um,
guy where you put him on the card and you're gonna get an exciting fight 10 times out of 10.
oh, absolutely. So yeah, he's not done, but he needs some time off.
For sure. Next fight, man, explosive knockout for sure, knockout of the night. We had Diego Ferreira knocking out Michael Johnson. Not the way I seen it happening. I thought Ferreira would out grapple him, and if Michael Johnson won, it'd be by knockout. But Ferreira, man, great adjustments. Listening to his coach Saeed so, and man, he did his thing, bro. I mean, off a layoff too. And Michael Johnson was on a little bit of a streak. Tough to see Johnson go out like that, but overall, Frere, made a statement.
Yeah, sure not the way I saw it happen. Because I picked Johnson to win, and I said, man, I feel like now keep it on his feet, now striking. Now let me ask you this, Zach. I think you already gave the answer, but I want to clarify. If I told you, I said, Zach, I said this fight's gonna stay on its feet. This fight's gonna be a stand-up fight. Who you thinking?
Johnson, man, I definitely
Yeah,
didn't see. I mean,
yeah,
when does Ferreira have knockout victories? You know what I mean?
never. And that surprised me seeing this result, man, to
Definitely.
say the least.
And Ferreira's always been a guy like in the lower rankings, but at 38 years old, I think he's trying to make one last run, and if you're gonna do it, man, make it exciting, and he definitely did that. Michael
It's a
Johnson.
good start.
Oh yeah, Michael Johnson's gonna have some decisions to make. He's 36. Um, he was talking about making another run. I think he can make way more money somewhere else, and I think that would be bare knuckle, and I think he could become champ. And I mean, I would love to see Michael Johnson as a bare knuckle. UFC fights, I mean, I think guys are just gonna try to take him down the whole time. We're not gonna
Yeah,
see what we want to see out of Michael Johnson. I'm trying to see Michael Johnson get paid, man, and make the most of
bang. Yeah, you never let him bang. Let,
it.
let me let me bang, bro. Let me bang, bro. Man,
Facts. Shout out
shout out to
to
Julian on the phone.
yeah. Next up, man, we had Borishov, man, getting the knockout over Shadi. And I think Borishov just proved that if you're gonna strike with him, it's not the best idea. And I think Shadi learned that the hard way. Borishov, his back was against the wall, and man, you love to see guys, make definitely a positive turn in their career, and Borisov did that. Maya Shadi, man, he's still young in his career. He still doesn't have the most experience fighting top level guys, so I think he's still learning. And Borisov is now or never. He's older guy, so good to see that. Your thoughts on what's next for these guys, man?
Yeah, my guy Mastery, man. Damn.
I
But
tried to tell you that
he
boy Borisov different on the feet, man.
yeah. You did, bro. That's kind of a fanboy pick, man.
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
just,
feel you.
hey, I had to show my boy some love, man. But he's all right though. He gonna get him some good hibachi, man. He's gonna chill out and just, you know, uh,
Damn,
just see
what?
what's next for him, but yeah, on a serious note though, man. Both guys are fun to watch. Both guys are super explosive strikers. Like you said, Borsov just a little bit, better on the feet, man. There's levels for a reason, and he showed it. I think both guys have a lot of tread left on the tires. Both young in their careers, and but what do you think is next for Borsov, man? After this,
I think Shadi's young in his career. I think Borisov is now or never, man. I want to say he's 31 years old.
damn, I didn't realize he was that old.
Yeah, you gotta go right now and take whatever the UFC gives you, man. And for Shadi, back to the drawing board. see what you did wrong and see what worked for you and what didn't.
Yeah, man.
Yep, yep. So next we had Carolina Kavakovic. Getting a decision victory over Vanessa Demopoulos. We were big on Carolina winning this fight, and in every aspect, she just proved to be a little bit better. And yeah, Carolina's now on a 3-fight win streak. Demopoulos, this is her first loss in a minute. So I think Carolina continues to climb the ranks, and Vanessa, I think, only gets tough fights from now on. She's not going to be able to fight the level of opposition that she was in these last 2 fights. And Vanessa showed that she can compete. She's a tough fight for anybody, but Carolina ultimately getting the victory in a 3-fight win streak. What you got, Harley?
Yeah, man. I'm not gonna rush it, but I think Carolina eventually, not now, but eventually, I think she gets a title shot, man. Uh, I really
What?
do.
Carolina?
Yeah, eventually, bro. I
Man,
think.
she
Nah,
37, bro. She 37, and her 3 wins
but
for Taryn, Juarez, and Demopolis. There's a whole another level out there.
oh yeah,
Not even ranked
but
opponents.
huh?
I don't even know if Vanessa was ranked, man.
We'll see. I don't think she wins it, but I think she could,
You
man.
saying
I
she
really do.
works her way up to a title shot?
I think she could.
Man, I gotta disagree with that, bro.
Well, we're gonna see.
All right. Moving up, we had Gilbert Urbina pulling up an upset over Orion Kose. Man, Kose did miss weight by 2 pounds. Not taking anything away from Urbina, but Kose looked like something was wrong when he was in there. Either that or he just forgot how to fight, man, because Urbina just took it to him, man. Was taking him down. Every asset of fighting, he beat him in. And Urbina gets the win after, coming off the Ultimate Fighter, a layoff. And Kosei, man, I don't know what's next for him. If we're talking about guys getting cut, you missed weight by 2 pounds and you had a performance like that. I don't know, man.
Yeah, this one was something I did not see coming at all.
Same.
Um, dude, we don't bet anymore, but I had this one as a lot for me.
Yeah.
This was my lock, my
Yeah.
lock block. We
I,
had Car- I had Carolina as a lock, but this is my lock block. Like
yeah,
this
yeah,
is
for
my,
sure.
and oh, I mean,
Yeah. Yeah. So,
and like
I
you
mean,
said, he missed weight by 2 pounds.
yeah, he
I
he
don't
had to
know.
be. An injured fighter when you see him, and a weight cut is very significant that the guy couldn't train like he wanted, and when you can't train like you want, sometimes you miss weight. So I wouldn't be surprised if he was injured. Moving up the card, and shout out to Urbina. He did what he was supposed to do, man. Injured or not, you don't you ain't you don't know, so you're gonna fight the best you can. That's what he did.
Yeah,
Uh, Moving up to the card, Rodrigo Nascimento getting a split decision over Ilya Latifi. Um, I mean, first round Nascimento,
I
second
got
round,
you on one. Thank God.
yeah, by split, by split.
Yeah, I still
Um,
got you on this one though. Thank God, cause man, I
La-
was,
Latifi, good second round, but third round Nascimento, man, just showed that he was 10 years younger and had a little more tools to his game. Nascimento was coming off a split decision. Did he win his I want to say he lost. No, yeah. 2-fight win streak. They're both split decisions. Latifi, he's up there in age. I don't know if he fights again, but he's a handful for anybody in the wrestling department. Nascimento can strike and he has a decent ground game. In a very thin heavyweight division, do you see Nascimento eventually moving into these rankings?
yeah, yeah. I think he'll get in the ranking. Yeah. Now once he gets out, I don't know what he'll do, but I think he'll get in the ranking.
No doubt. I can see it too. There's some things that, some problems he might run into, but I could see him, holding that 15 spot for now. Another thing that I definitely didn't see was Chase Hooper outstriking and winning versus Nick Fiore. Um,
No, man,
Hoop,
that's a crazy result on this card, man.
absolutely, man.
Jeez.
And this is why we're not bet on it MMA anymore. We don't want to lead nobody to, going bankrupt. You feel me? Because MMA, there's only one thing predictable about an MMA fight. It's that it's unpredictable. And if we were to tell you Chase Hooper was gonna just put on a striking performance, dominant performance, y'all would have been in the comment section, going crazy. And that's exactly what he did. Nick Fiore had the better exchanges grappling, and Hooper kept it on the feet, and that's what ultimately won him the fight. Fiore is, you got to keep in mind, Fiore did get into the UFC off a 1 day or 2 day notice fight. And, if you take that for the UFC, they're going to give you another chance. Fiore only had six other professional fights before that. And, Hooper kind of got in there early. And, these fights are good fights for him to develop his game, man. And it was good to see his striking. He did work with Wonder Boy, and it kind of showed some Wonder Boy-esque striking there. Were you just as surprised as me for Chase Hooper?
Hell yeah. Not just because he won, but the way he won. I like,
Yep, for
yeah,
sure.
man.
I
Yeah.
I think going back to what you said about Shabazian, I think that's what they should do, or probably eventually what's going to happen to Fior. He kind of got in there early and didn't have time to develop. He needs to go like to LFA or something like that because if Chase Hooper's out striking you, you gotta go back to and no knock on
Yeah.
Chase Hooper, you feel me? He put in the work, but he's still doing a lot of things where I see at the higher level or good strikers, they're gonna put Chase Hooper on his butt.
Yeah, man. And also, I think Fuhrer, even if they cut him, I think he'll work his way back to the big show.
Oh
I,
yeah,
I
for
just
sure.
think he needs some time, to go back to the drawing board, redevelop some things, and he'll be back.
Oh yeah. Next fight we had Natalia Silva, man, who we said was a beat.
Man,
She got the win over Victoria Leonardo in the first round, and we know how good Victoria is. So that just shows you how good Natalia Silva is. Silva's
yeah.
debut, she beat Jasmine Judovicius, and we were both saying that she's going to be in the top 15 and she's going to be a force to be.
Oh, yeah.
And she's
Dude,
showing y'all why, man. Very good striking. She didn't show too much of her game, but it's definitely there. Keep your eye on Natalia Silva, man.
I'm telling you, uh, you know, I'm going to touch on Victoria in a second.
Right.
But just looking at Natalia, I want to see her get a step up fight her next fight, man.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. She definitely deserves a ranked opponent.
Oh, yeah.
And you know
And a
what?
lot of people,
If she fought Carolina, I wouldn't be mad at it.
no. Matter of fact, I would love to see that fight. Really would.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I think that's a fight to make.
Yeah.
And
I like that.
hometown girl Victoria Leonardo, not too many people make it out from where we're from, man. And for her to just make it to the UFC is big. And Dana White retweeted her lip. You know what I'm saying? So like people know how tough she is. She fought with a broken arm before. She's only fighting dogs. You know, I think she gets another chance. I think she got the company's respect. So I think this ain't the last time you want to see her.
Yeah, man. And for her, I just look. We don't come on here and be fanboys and none of that stuff. We give our honest opinion.
Right.
But we try to stay out of the bias category. But I, you know, we got some bigger fish to fry. But I want to take a moment to give Victoria her credit because, like Jack said, from where we're from, we got some people that can scrap. Trust me, we do.
Facts.
We got some people that are coming up right now that I think can eventually be in the big show. I
Facts.
don't mention no names, but if you know, you know. But for Victoria Leonardo to be a woman, not just from Louisiana, but a woman,
Yep.
and make her way to the damn big show, props to her. And
Absolutely.
listen to me. The girl, look, she might not win every fight. She is she the most talented fighter? I'm be honest with you. Is Victoria Leonardo the most talented fighter? No. But that girl comes to fight. She's gonna force you to fight. She's gonna bring the best out of you because everybody knows if you don't bring your A game against Victoria Leonardo, she's gonna surprise the hell out of you and she's gonna end up beating you. And I agree. Victoria Leonardo, she deserves another chance. And I really think they'll give her somebody that she should be in her next fight. I'm gonna tell you, I think Victoria rips off a win in her next fight, man. And props to her. huge props to her. No matter what's next for her, to just be a pioneer in women's MMA in Louisiana for the ladies in Louisiana to look up to her and say, look, if I can do it, you can do it.
Big
Huge
facts.
ups to her, man.
Big
Big
facts.
props to her.
Next up we had Thimba Garimbo getting the unanimous decision over Takashi Sato. And
Hey,
we kind of
I
seen it
want to say
coming.
this. Simba, no, I'm sorry to cut you off, but
Yeah,
Simba
good.
Garimbo, that son of a bitch is tough, bro.
Hell yeah. And
That son of a bitch is tough.
that just shows you how good, AJ is, AJ Fletcher. Because he beat Themba his last fight. You know what I'm saying? We talking about the boot. The boot
Yeah.
got some guys, man. But
Hey, we can bang a little bit. We can
going
bang a little bit.
so
Yeah.
going back to Themba, man, I think his switch up to MMA Masters, training with Kobe Covington on the regular. You talked about Kobe Covington, actually helping him out for this camp. Themba said he had $7 to his name. His whole team turned his back on him from Africa. So he moved to States, went to MMA Masters, and man, you could just tell, bro. It definitely was the best move for his career. A must needed win against a tough Sato, man. You see Themba doing some big things at 170, man.
Dude, listen, I'm gonna say this. I don't know because you know, our boy AJ beat him. Our boy AJ did his thing in that fight too.
Yes, sir.
But man, when seeing Thimba move to MMA, he looked like a completely different fighter. So
Yeah,
I don't know. It's still very early, but hey, he got a chance, man.
absolutely, man. Absolutely.
And I thought he had a highlight reel knockout, bro. And
Yeah,
he fucking woo.
yeah. Nah, he looked
He
good, man, in all facets of fighting. Before we move on to the last card, who you think had the best performance out of this? We had Mackenzie Dern, we had Hernandez, we had Godinez, Buckley, Thimba, Borisov, Ferreira. I mean, the list goes on and on. You had Chase Hooper, very solid performances, but which one stood out the most to you?
either Mackenzie Dern or Chase Hooper.
Okay. I I'd have
Dude,
to say, you know, uh, that's hard to argue with, man. I mean,
just
oh,
because I was not expecting Chase Hooper and
yeah,
Mackenzie Dern to do what they did.
yeah, no, I give you that. Um, yeah, I mean, bro, so many are like, Mackenzie Dern had the most on the line, so I have to say Mackenzie Dern, but I mean, everybody had a story of this fight, man. They had some shit to prove, and I think a lot of people got it off their chest and let people know that they're here to stay. I mean, you got Joaquin Buckley, Borisov as well. So, and then Ferreira, man, it's dang. It was definitely an exciting fight card.
Hell yeah, absolutely.
Now, moving on to the last fight card that we had, we'll cover the main event. Chantel Cameron, man, beating Katie Taylor in an absolute dog fight. I definitely had Katie Taylor winning before the fight had started, but Chantel Cameron, man, had a great game plan. She stayed on the inside, banged it out with Taylor, was the bigger and more physical girl. And ultimately, man, I think she proved that she's another name in women's boxing, which is growing. And man, I'd be excited to see them run that fight back for sure. Um,
Yeah, man. Huge win for for her. I definitely wasn't expecting that. Um, so for her to come out and beat Katie Taylor, a girl that was, you know, a girl that was undisputed, for her to do that, bro, that was huge. That was huge.
Hell yeah, man. And it's good to see women's boxing getting their due, man. I think they should let them fight 3-minute rounds. I think they should let them go 12 rounds, not 10. And because these girls put on more exciting fights than the guys sometimes, man. And
Absolutely.
I think it's only growing. You got girls like Serrano, Michaela Mayer, the GOAT herself, and then these two. It's only getting bigger and bigger for women's boxing. So I can't wait to see what's next. It was definitely an exciting fight weekend. We had Haney versus Lomachenko, very good fight. We had Mackenzie Dern versus Angel Hill, very good fight. And then we had Katie Taylor versus Chantel, a very entertaining fight. So, all in all, good fight weekend. Before we close this thing out, you got anything else you want to put?
Yeah, man. Overall, really solid weekend of fights, man. Like you said too, I want to say this: it's huge for women's boxing to see. Um, you know, cause for so many years, excuse me, for so many years they had just um, it was kind of stale, and the fact of you had one girl that was ruling the whole sport,
Right.
you know, and there was really nobody to challenge those top fighters. But man, now you see more parity in the sport. Um, they're not only putting on, having they're not only having parity in the sport, but it's been some bangers, man. You
Hell
look
yeah.
at Taylor versus Serrano. You look at this fight right here. You know, so it's very good to see. Props to women's boxing, and I hope to see it continue to grow. Um, but the weekend as a whole, man, really solid night of fights. Um, very good. Not only main event, the Devin Haney versus Lomachenko fight,
Right.
but the whole card. Good competitive card there. And the fight night card for UFC, you had some upsets. You had some guys uh, sneak up on you, and some underdogs get the job done. And we saw some people refine their skill sets and get get better in their overall games too. So that was really good to see. And then, like we just touched on, the uh, Katie Taylor fight as well, with her taking the loss to Cameron, but a really close fight. I'd love to see a rematch. So that was really good to see as well. Overall, very solid weekend of fights. We're looking forward to the next one.
Hell yeah. And like one thing about that Katie Taylor fight, man, they sold that arena like close to out, man. The crowd was going crazy. So like that just shows you like how much growth there is in women's boxing that they can head, they more than capable of headlining a main event, you know. So that's good to see. We got fights this weekend as well, UFC Fight Night, ESPN, another boxing card. So we're gonna be breaking that down all week. And all we ask is that you like, subscribe, comment, and comment your thoughts, man. If you thought, Lomachenko won that fight, if you thought Haney won the fight, comment. We'll get back to you, interact with you. But yeah, we're out, guys. Till next time.
Have a good one. Peace.